Is it, can you actually see me? Alex, I did not do what you asked me to do, so I am not sure if you can see me or it's the video that's showing. Good Lord. Okay, so you can see me and hear me, and there's no other video that's showing. Is that correct? Just give me a shout out, because this is the first time I'm doing a broadcast in this manner using a new platform, using StreamYard. And this time I'm broadcasting. The last time I was on StreamYard was when I was interviewed by Alex. And okay, great. Thank you, Connie. Thanks, Crystal. Thanks for the feedback. Thanks, Yasha. So just give me a shout out if there's anything that you want to jump in and comment. I'll respond when I can. So I'm gonna be coming on for the next 2 nights at 10:35, and to talk about this subject matter and what's on our minds right now, what's in the awareness or what's in the space right now is COVID-19, of course, and the lockdowns. And I'm not just gonna be ranting and bitching and moaning about this. I want to take a different approach to it this time. My first live video on Facebook, I was really mad, and I thought that perhaps doing something different might help, and that is perhaps is to have a different type of conversation, a more of a learning conversation around we be the one that leads the change, and that we are the ones that's charging, and we are the ones that's taking over what's really going on. The mainstream media, and we spend a lot of time in the mainstream media watching, for those of us who do, we get a lot of the memes, and the memes are programming us, and it's programming us in our mind, because the language used is creating a reality for us. And as we process the in our minds using the language, and the language keeps coming over and over again, which is the language that we use to have a conversation with ourselves also, it's also programming us. And so what I'm thinking is, and today's topic about frontliners, actually, I'm not the brainchild behind it. I was inspired by a woman. She was a nurse, and I was not sure, was it in London or in New York? She had a rant on her Facebook, and I happened to catch it. I wish I had shared it on my Facebook then, but I didn't. And what she said, she comes back from work, and she has been awake for like 2 or 3 days, and she is just ranting, and just ranting about why are you calling us frontliners? I'm a nurse and I haven't had sleep, I haven't seen my family, and you are calling us frontliners is insane. Why would you send the frontliner to head the battle? Why, if we are fighting a war, why would you put your doctors and nurses and people involved in the medical profession, why would you have them be the frontliners? We should be seen as the last line of defense. And if every single person instead was to be the frontliner, and everyone does their part and fight the battle, and when the soldiers fall, and then we become the last line of defense. So this nurse said it so beautifully and painfully, but I don't think it reached a lot of people. And so I aim with this broadcast, or with this message tonight, that I can perhaps repeat that message in a different way, and speak into how we all are creating, how we all are responsible for perpetuating the disease, perpetuating this lockdown, perpetuating the MCO. I did predict that we will definitely go into lockdown again. And I think we will definitely be going into another major lockdown soon, or MCO. It's only because I think because of the language being used, which doesn't harness every single person to go 100% in taking responsibility and being responsible and co-creating the results of bringing the numbers down. I'm as guilty as anybody else. I've met friends during the time when we are the RMCO, when we are doing the recovery and everything was open. I have met people in shopping malls, and I still say, you hug? I'm a hugger, so I love hugging, and I still hug. And so I'm not as diligent as I need to be. I still notice I touch my eyes because I have bad eyes. I'm still doing all the things I'm not supposed to do. Yes, I'm wearing the mask. I'm being clear about that. But I also notice my motivation to wear the mask is not a conscious choice. It's more around, I don't want to pay the fine. So I'll be punished for not using the mask. And if I'm punished by not using the mask by being fined 1,000 ringgit, then I better put on the mask because this is 1,000 ringgit. So I'm not motivated by, I am doing my part. I'm the front liner. I am the one that is supposed to be fighting this battle and saving our medical professionals, saving our doctors, saving our nurses, saving all those who work in the medical profession. Now, don't misunderstand. I am not going to dismiss them as being the heroes. I do think the doctors, nurses, and all those working in hospitals and in the medical profession, the postmen, the policemen, the delivery guys on Grab, Food Panda, and DHL, and all the delivery people, they are the heroes during the lockdown because they are out there and we are inside. So I'm not dismissing them, but I think we should give a break to the medical professionals, the doctors and nurses, and change their designation and call them the last line of defense. And if we call them the last line of defense, then if this really is a war, if this is a war and the languaging use, and if we hold them, because language creates reality, language is the one that motivates us. It's the conversation. You see, the language, the mind, which has a language thing going on here, then informs our emotions, then informs our behavior. So the belief or the conversation creates our mood, our feelings, our emotions, and then they generate our actions, our behavior. So if we change the conversation, if we change the message to we are all the frontliners, every single person, you, me, everyone, and we remind each other, we support each other, we check in with each other, we tell each other, sometimes people forget. And we jump in and we are part of that conversation, and we hold ourselves like we are the frontliners and hold the doctors and nurses and the medical professionals as the last line of defense. Then we will want to protect this group of people by us doing our part, by us reminding each other. And if we have this shift, and if we change the conversation, because the mainstream media till today keeps referring to doctors and nurses and the medical professionals as frontliners. Even right now, as I say the word frontliner, straight away we think of all the medical professionals. So if we change designation and we all take responsibility, we are all called to fight this war together, this invisible enemy called COVID-19. If we all shift our conversation and say, we are the frontliners now, we need to protect our last line of defense, we go to battle and we remind each other and we are rigorous in that, then I think we can handle this. I think we can bring the numbers down. The numbers are going up. So for for the next today's episode and the next two episodes, I'm going to be talking about language creating reality. And for today, the topic is about frontliners and shifting the idea that we are the frontliners. And even there's been calls for volunteers with the medical profession as well. Our dear DG has said we need volunteers. I don't have the kind of experience or expertise to go and volunteer in medical services. I know nothing. So there are more people now going to be part of that group of frontliners. So I want to change that. Let's call them last line of defense. Let's protect our last line of defense. Let's protect them and let us be the frontliners. And we support, challenge, remind each other so that we can change this result. So I'm going to keep it short. This is my first time broadcasting, and I just wanted to start the conversation and a movement for us to interrupt the mainstream media's conversation. And maybe one of you have enough influence in the media to talk to your media friends and sell them this idea and enroll them into this movement and shifting the conversation so that we are all coming together and we're fighting the battle together so that the numbers can go down. We can give the doctors and nurses and all those in the medical profession a break. So I invite you to like, share, and pass this message on if you agree with what I'm saying this evening. I have 2 more episodes, also interrupting the memes that's out there and how we are creating our reality. And I urge you to, if you agree with what I'm saying tonight, to join me in creating this movement to shift the conversation, to change the language. We are all the frontliners. So thank you very much for joining us. I am now going to check out the comments because there are so many things at the same time that's going on, and I'm getting used to this. And don't worry, Connie. You know, true to my nature, I will continue bitching and moaning. But the main highlight over here tonight is that we get the message and perhaps reframe the languaging so that we can reframe our actions and behave in a different way. I think the mood and the feeling and our emotional state will also alter as soon as we change that. So see what happens for you if I call you a frontliner. If we call each other, hey, frontliner, let's get disciplined. Let's put on the mask. Let's check your temperature. Make sure you check in. Because I've seen people who just swing their phone there and they don't really check in. And they put a rubbish information on the thing because the guards are more focused on checking the temperature, and they just check the temperature. And I don't interrupt. I don't say, hey, contact tracing is important. Please make sure that you fill that in properly, or use the app, download the app. I know I didn't interrupt it. So I've seen it and I didn't interrupt it. So I know I'm going to change my behavior. I'm going to be a little bit more diligent because this RMCO, CMCO, and then red zones, EMCO in certain places is driving us all nuts. But I guess, and I'm not going to say it because that's going to be episode 3. I'll see you in the next 2 episodes. That's all from me tonight. So please like and share and pass this message on if you want to create the movement with me that we are the frontliners. Take care and have a good night. Be safe. Okay. And broadcast. Oh, there it is. Good night, guys. Thanks for all of your comments. Let's get the message out there. Good night.